were depressed until after they got into theirs. There was no support system the way I really needed it. I needed to be understood. I needed to know that I wasn't the only one, and that's what it's here for. So when I'm sitting in that party, minorly buns, having jello shots go around, it's all good, key, fun, but that was my moment. That was my climax, I would definitely say. That was my moment that made me feel everything and made me realize and, like, basically reiterating in my head of why I'm doing this. That's kind of like my feeling for that event, definitely. That was like a stepping stone for me. And then actually at the end, this is what he said. He said, to see you evolve as an artist is a beautiful sight. And I actually heard this a few times today. Like, for me to take the time, and mind you, I didn't sleep for a while. I actually lost like 10 pounds by the time this was released. I just put my soul into this. I could not sleep without making sure that I got my notes for each song and making sure that it sounds exactly what it is, and that I had to send over to Berlin to make sure that he got what I was saying. Like, just I had to make sure that everything was the way it needed to be. And just it is. It's beautiful.
I mean, it sounds like it, just from what you're describing, because like you can make the best shit that you possibly can, but you never control the results of it. So you have to just be at peace with the work you put in and know that I gave my all, and then hopefully I just received just some of what I put in, Hopefully all of what I put in, but just to hear that you touch people in that way. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry. The things I have put out already are subpar to me, in my own opinion, because I made it. So I know it could be better, in my opinion. The only song I really, like, hands down would not delete is my song Kaya, and that's the first song I ever made. And that's, like, the, most boppy song I have. I made that's the first song I ever made in, June of last year. So the progress I made to look back on how careless I kind of was, and not saying it in a derogatory term, I actually was careless. It was more of, okay, now I can do this, now let me post it out. It wasn't, let me look at what I'm making, let me take the time. Also, my producer was about an hour away driving, so it was more of a hike, and I had more accessibility to the engineer I have now, so I understand why it wasn't as deeply thought of. But to just kind of see the transition of being careless and kind of doing it just to do it, and then doing it with a purpose, the result is completely different. How it's received, completely different. Like, it's just more of how the artists themselves are really taking care of it, because it's kind of a baby. You got to feed it, take care of it, and you got to put it out in the world and make sure that nobody beats the crap out of it. Like, come on. Make sure that it's safe enough to go out, because once it's out there, it's out there. This is my thing.
Like with music, like I look at music like the song is yours until you put it out. Like once you put it out, it's not yours anymore. It's the people, and then like it's up to them, like on how they see it. You know what I'm saying? It's like
seriously,
like you said, like you could tell the difference between like when you didn't care and when you cared. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like it's when they say like your actions determine how people treat you. So like when it was careless, but when you put it away, but when you put your all into it and you make sure it's focused, now people respect it because you respected it, and they can feel you.
You know what I would say though, for this, like a lot of my the influence I got from my mom and my dad, like the things that they listened to, like Steely Dan or just more songs that were 5 to 7 minutes. Like those songs that just kind of faded out and you could hear the musicians kind of just jamming out and letting it rock. Stuff like that. To remix things and put it like at the end. Take one part that sounded so crazy. And like, you know what, let's freak that. Put that at the end. Like a lot of older influences went into this. Because I definitely wanted to make this something that was different. Like, I think I would definitely say I think Travis Scott did a lot of that with his album, like a little bit
Yeah, he did.
similar, like a lot of transition. Yeah, I love transition. I love attention getters, all those little drops and everything. That's my bread and butter. Because honestly, my voice is so deep, and it's the monotone of the EP is so calm. If you listen to it too long, you're gonna fall asleep, or you're going to fall asleep into the blunt, or you know what I'm saying? Like you're not gonna be as interested. So you need something to wake you up real quick and then keep you focused. So that's definitely my favorite part of this whole thing.
Okay. Like I noticed, like you brought up like your dad a few times. Like, how much of a role has he played in your life, for you, or especially musically? Your dad, yeah, because like I caught on that you brought him up like a few times. Like, how much of a role has he played?
I won't, because I'm not gonna say just my dad. My parents both do. I'm just me and my dad like have a relationship, but me and my mother don't. So when I was growing up, because mind you, they have their own band. Well, they did. It's called Philly Fusion Project, and my mom had her own like stage name, and she was Vicky Wright, and she was in Amazon. And my dad was in a band in the 90s called Funky Man. I actually played last week. So I was definitely in the studio from like childhood. Like I was singing backup for my mom at like 9 years old. Like being, mind you, I didn't even see it. I didn't see how beautiful that was until like last year. I'm like, wow, I was going to Camden and I was going to all these different venues and singing with my mom. Like I could have been doing this a little bit earlier, but at the same time, like the journey wouldn't have been the same. But I was listening to some of my songs last night, and I sound a lot like my mother, like a lot. And a lot of the beat drop and stuff, because my dad's a drummer. My dad's been playing drums for like 40 or so years. So all the beat stuff and all that, that's him. And all the calm, deep voice things is my mom. A lot, very much. They definitely have a lot of influence without even trying to.
So like by chance, like just like there's like so with you pretty much being in like music like your whole life, by chance do you feel you destined to do music?
Yes. Absolutely. It's just it's more of like when you're young, whenever you're kind of around a lot, will just kind of sit with you a little bit more. Like I painted when I was a kid, but I didn't do. My parents weren't artistically inclined, so they didn't focus on it as much. But when I was singing or anything, they pushed that 10 times more than they would anything else. Like we jammed, I think one time when I was 9, and they never forgot it. And I was just like, that wasn't even a thing, but you're making it a thing. So they just, they definitely wanted that to be it. Well, my dad wanted it more than my mom, because I was actually supposed to do psychology at Westchester a couple of years ago, and with a minor in music, and my path changed. So there's definitely a lot of twists and turns. But I used to play flute and band. Like I was definitely like hopping in and out. I was choir in high school. Like just a lot of in and out, because I was still trying to find other purpose, because I wasn't sure if it was for me. Because there's not very many little chunky black girls with deep voices on Billboard. So it's not very, my demographic and a lot of black women aren't represented a lot. So it doesn't really seem like we can do it until we tell ourselves we can. So I definitely was deterred, because I know I'm not a Rihanna. I know I'm not none of these people. I'm not degrading anything that I am. But it's just more of like I wasn't represented, so I didn't feel like it was possible.
Yeah, like it's funny how you can fight things. Like I know, like for me, like I was a band kid too. Like and the thing is, I wanted to quit dance every year. Like I wanted to quit every year. I was on the drum line, and like every year, my mom made me stay. Like I was like, all right, mom, you know, I did it. She's like, She was like, but I'm out this year. Like, no, you're gonna stay. And then by my senior year, I wanted to do music. Like, I didn't want to play football no more. I was like, I know for a fact I want to do music with my life. Like, football was a chore after a certain point for me. And I was like, nah, like, I know what I want to do with my life. Like, I don't need to waste my time trying to do something else. You know, like I went to college for a little bit, but like I didn't want to do it. Like, I didn't even go to college with the intent on finishing it. I was like, I'm just going for, like, I'm trying to feel like I'm being forced. Like, I want to do music. I want to give my life to it.
That is facts. Like, everything that I tried to do outside of music really kind of, like, popped me in my head and said, nah, like, you obviously not meant for this, you know what I'm saying? So I tried to do, I did lacrosse and everything, and I wanted to go to school for lacrosse. I got hit in the eye with a lacrosse ball, and I couldn't play anymore. So I was out. That was the end. And luckily, like, I walked on to Westchester's lacrosse team. So it was just like everything that I was trying to do was going left. Like, when I went to school, I ended up not going anymore. So that was kind of the point in my life where I was like, all right, you need to figure out what you're going to do, because if you don't have college and you wasn't preparing to not go to college, what is your next step?
Yeah.
I had about like 3 different ones, and I fell off them steps, but I found my right one.
Yeah, you got to, man. It's like, I heard a quote one time. It said that rejection leads to direction, and I really apply that to my life.
Oh my goodness, that's definitely beautiful. Like, I'll definitely say, like, me struggling has built me to be stronger. And a lot of people, like, have been saying, like, a lot of the stuff that I guess I've been through, like, they wouldn't survive it. I'm just like, you don't know that. You don't know that. Like, we all go through our own hardships and everything. It's just seeing the beauty in the struggle and seeing what you can handle and seeing what you have handled. And knowing that if you can deal with the worst of the worst, you deserve the best of the best. It's just more of us working toward getting that after getting over the worst. And that's kind of what this journey has been. Like, last year, I was homeless. And after I was homeless, I got hit by a car.
You do also try to get my car, though. But I was homeless, too.
It's crazy the path that we're put on. And the people that we meet along the way and the lights that we see. And the people we may touch just by telling these stories. It's crazy. And one of the songs is not the one that I have today, but it's called Depression. And I wrote that in April, and it has 4s in the song because it's supposed to represent April. I heard that song the other day, and I actually cried listening to it. Like, I just finished recording it, and I sat with it, and I cried. Because I remember what it felt like when I was writing it. And I remember how, mind you, like, in the intro, like, if you listen to the project, you'll completely get everything that I'm saying. But I was in the midst of all these opportunities and all these really awesome people who are still in my life, and I just could not feel anything without, like, validation. I needed a like or something to make me feel something, because I couldn't. And now to be actually doing things for me, not for the likes or for the post or anything, it kind of is what it is if I post it, like, because I like it. To have my mindset change for the better, for my head to be clearer, for me to be able to breathe, it makes me just feel overwhelmingly positive in the best way. I can honestly say I've never felt like this before. I can stand on my own 2 feet and really be the best person that I was meant to be. That is something I couldn't buy. I can never buy. Never. It's something that I feel like that was withheld. And I finally was able to take it for my own. And it's different when you take it than when it's given. So I'm just even us talking about it today, for you wanting to hear about my perception of this and to hear the project and want to share it. Just sitting in that and realizing the journey to be here. Just, beautiful. And I think about this every day.